Alright, so when you get started, you're going to land here at the circle. This is just a nice rundown for tips for Valheim, not only for PC, but also for the console players out there, as we did just get this. So when you first get started, kind of, read all the dialogue, run around, jump. You level up your different skills. I would say if you're going to start building to check your map and head towards a source of water, as flint is definitely a resource that you're going to need early on, for sure. And don't forget to also walk around and pick up stones. The first big thing that you're going to craft is going to be the stone hatchet. So I believe it's Y for us to go over and bust up the crafting menu, hit RB until you're down to craft, and then go for the stone axe, which is going to cost you 5 wood and 4 stones. So you're like, how am I supposed to get wood for an axe if I can't chop down trees? Well, just look for some branches and you'll be all set. So once you collect enough of those, then you can start to chop down the big boy trees. And you can carry 2 things at once. I think it's up on the D-pad to pull it out, and then it's right trigger to do a heavy swing. And then it's RB, right bumper, to do the light swing. And then once you fell the tree, you can break it up into smaller pieces. And you also have different things you can level with your axe cutting skills. See how my stam goes down? That's the other thing with this game. If you look at the food bar down there on the lower left, it's going to help give you buffs not only for stam, but also for your health. And so it can make you run longer. It can also help with collecting things. So let me see if I can bring this up. So if you pop open the menu, first you'll start off with things like mushrooms and berries. You can eat those and the buff will stay there for X amount of time. But as you start to get more types of food, I would suggest cooking them because you'll get better and better buffs. So it's about stacking those and really keeping your health up as you play. Alright, so, and again, you're going to be building in so many different places. I wouldn't worry too much about, like, I need the perfect spot, because you're going to be walking around quite a bit. Alright, one of the other things you can do while we're kind of out here waiting for my stam to come back, if you open up the map, you can place different icons at different places of interest. There are dungeons that can be completed. I would suggest adding the check mark. We'll call this one, I don't know, Jade, right? And then you should be able to tick these off. Can we do this? And then I think you can toggle the pins. There we go. Toggle the pins? Toggle the pins. No? Ping, remove. Cross off the pin, left bumper. There you go. So if you were to find a dungeon, this is a really good way to check them off your list. I would suggest doing that often. And kind of stay in the beginner zone because you really don't want to be running into things like skeletons. They're very, very dangerous. I think one of the more advanced ways to chop down trees are to get up on top of a hill like so, chop down the tree, and as it fells, it's going to start to come down on the other trees, and then you can get some bonuses. But be careful, the trees will hurt you badly. And then we'll go down to the edge of the water and I'll show you a couple tips that I think really helped out. None of this is going to like ruin the game for you by any stretch. This just kind of helps you get started as far as progression. Yeah, when these trees buck up like that, you got to be careful. Ooh, real quick while we see the deer. Sneaking up on deer is a good way to hunt them, but I think the best way to hunt these guys is to use a bow and arrow. You're going to be using the hide on these quite often, so get good at hunting down deer and also boar. Oh, there we go. Get your blocking skills up. Look at this guy. You want to fight? Oh, there's another one right there. Oh my goodness, get him off me! All right, let's switch to the club. That's fine. I'll take you all on. That's fine. It's so cool that you can level up the different weapons and stuff. Then as you get higher in this game, as far as your skill sets, you do like lose those skill points. Not unlike Minecraft, where your XP like explodes when you go down. So keep that in mind. Although in the very beginning, you're pretty much safe until you reach a certain level. So, just keep that in mind. Things to look out for when you get started are these little stones on the ground and different types of food. You'll see berries in a bush. Hopefully we can find some on the way down here. And then also mushrooms. Those are really the beginner type of food that you really want to start to stack for those buffs. Because you're going to want the stamina and whatnot. There you go. There's a mushroom. There you go. Hey, little guy. There's another one right there. And then you just re-up on them as you keep going. Alright, so once we've made our way down the shoreline here, we should see the coast. Now hopefully we can show you what flint looks like. There's a deer. Look at that guy. Alright, so if you walk up on the shoreline, one of the major things you need to help level up your crafting and upgrade your weapons is going to be flint. Let me go ahead and bust out my torch here. And so you'll find them in the water. They're like little gray, long, rectangular stones. Hopefully we can see them here. I'm going to slow down once we find one. But they're key, not only for making like higher end stuff, but also for that crafting upgrade. So right there, flint, definitely a key item. They do wash ashore over time, so again, it's just nice to be on the shoreline when you first get started. All right, let's go over to our main homestead here. So I like to just find some shelter that already exists. You can do it any way you want, and it won't be your only shelter that you'll be making. So keep that in mind as well. I just found whatever this was here. Am I even close? I should have marked down my own base, shouldn't I? Yeah, it's just up here. Yeah, so to place your first crafting table down and to use it, you need shelter. So you need something over the top of your base. So in order to unlock all the different things you need to place down or create your first crafting bench, which you can do by building your hammer. So let me go ahead and bust that open. So if you hit your Y button, hit RB, and then go down to the crafting menu and select hammer. Once you've built that for 2 stone and 3 sticks, then you can actually, once you have that in your hand, you can start to do other types of things. So if I hit up on the D-pad and then hit, can we two-hand these? Up on the D-pad and then I hit B, we have different crafting options. You won't have all of these to start. What you want to do is start with this here and then place down a workbench, and then it starts to unlock even more. Then if you want to use said workbench, you need to make sure it's got a rooftop over wherever this is placed. And if you notice, I can actually do my first upgrade. That's the first huge tip, I think, is, and again, you see how that costs flint? So if this is close enough to the workbench, it's going to upgrade it, and then we can do more things with the workbench that we just place with RB. Missing a requirement? Oh, I don't have enough flint, do I? Of course I don't. And then up on the D-pad to put it away. But that's such a huge thing. I think I just need one more, don't I? That was such a big deal, to create the hammer and then to keep going. And then I would suggest another quick tip too is to place, well, you're going to need to do this, but this is just nice for cooking food. Oh my goodness. Well, A, don't light yourself on fire. That's one. That's a good tip. Don't do that. Once you're in the water, make sure you go up to a campfire to cool off, because it's going to start knocking down your stamina and stuff, your health and whatnot. But to have this up here to cook all your different types of food, and make sure you take them off the fire and then put them in a box somewhere is a big deal. And then once you do have some shelter, is to place a box and then make sure you've got a bed somewhere so you can advance through the night, like Minecraft, right? Right. And also, once you have your first tools and you've got proper shelter, if you go over to the workbench, you can go over here by hitting RB, and if the workbench is covered, you can push in the right thumbstick to start to repair all your different items. And you can do that with even higher tier items. And these are all things I wish I would have known when I got started playing Valheim. And it doesn't ruin anything, it just helps you get started. You know what I mean? Because I played for 5 hours going, what am I doing, dude? I don't know. Did that help, sir? I gotta check something.